it's hard to believe, It's been over 60 years since the assassination of JFK.
Yeah.
And it's one of those events that, just feels frozen in time. Those, grainy images, the iconic photos, the shock and grief on everyone's faces.
Yeah.
You asked for a deep dive into,
Absolutely.
what happened in those immediate hours after the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's step back in time.
Yeah.
And explore those first chaotic moments.
Those crucial moments, yeah.
You provided some excerpts from a podcast called The Rest is History.
Right.
I'm joined by an expert to help unpack it all.
Happy to be here.
The podcast, it really captures that frantic atmosphere at Parkland Hospital.
Oh, absolutely.
They describe the scene, in vivid detail.
Yeah.
With, doctors desperately trying to save President Kennedy.
Right.
While Jackie Kennedy, covered in her husband's blood,
yeah,
refused to leave his side.
Just a horrific scene.
That detail about Jackie handing a nurse a piece of JFK's skull.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's so powerful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just so raw. And
yeah.
I mean, talk about symbolism, right?
Oh, absolutely.
A piece of the president's being, entrusted to a medical professional who ultimately can do nothing.
Powerless to help, right?
Powerless to help, yeah.
Yeah. It's almost too much to process.
Yeah.
It's like this collision of, personal grief with the weight of history.
Absolutely.
And even as the doctors are working on JFK, you can just sense those gears of power already shifting.
Yeah.
The Secret Service agents start talking about,
right.
Getting the president to safety.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about Kennedy anymore.
No.
We're talking about Lyndon B. Johnson.
It's LBJ at this point. And it really highlights, the immediate need for continuity of government.
Right.
Even in the face of this unimaginable tragedy.
Right.
The presidency couldn't just stop.
Yeah.
The world was watching, and the country needed leadership.
And while all of this is unfolding at Parkland,
yeah,
the Dallas police are already conducting their investigation.
Right.
What I found surprising was how quickly they moved.
Yeah, they did.
They had a suspect description out almost immediately.
Yeah.
Based on witness accounts?
Yeah. I mean, they were under immense pressure to solve this crime. Not just to bring the perpetrator to justice, but also to reassure the public that, the government was in control.
Absolutely.
Right? And so within an hour, they'd found the suspected sniper's nest on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, spent cartridges, the paper bag that likely held the rifle. It was all there.
It was all there.
It was all there.
Yeah, but as if this tragedy wasn't enough, another shocking event happens.
I know, right?
Officer J.D. Tippit is shot and killed in what seems like an unrelated incident.
Yeah.
But the description of his killer closely matches the suspect description from the JFK shooting.
Oh, yeah. So adds another layer of complexity, another set of questions. Was this a coincidence? Was Oswald involved in both shootings?
Right.
And it creates this incredible tension.
Yeah.
Did the Dallas police have the right man in custody?
Right.
Or was there a dangerous killer still out there?
Right. And then, of course, we have Walter Cronkite breaking the news of JFK's death to the nation.
Oh, yeah.
His voice catching with emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a moment burned into the collective memory of a generation.
Yeah. And think about the impact of that moment, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This is before the internet, before 24-hour news channels.
Right.
People relied on these trusted voices to deliver the news.
Yeah.
And Cronkite's genuine grief resonated so deeply with viewers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And soon after, we see Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in as president on Air Force One.
Yeah.
That photo of that moment is just so striking.
Isn't it?
Jackie, in her blood-stained pink suit.
Yeah.
LBJ looking resolute. Lady Bird Johnson standing by his side.
Yeah.
It really encapsulates that abrupt transition of power.
Right.
And those conflicting emotions of the moment.
Yeah.
Jackie's grief, LBJ's determination, Lady Bird's steadfast support.
Yeah, it really is a reminder that history just keeps moving, even in the face of this tragedy.
Right. And then we have the arrest of Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
Caught in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Behaving suspiciously.
Right.
Now, Oswald's demeanor during his interrogation is incredibly important.
It is.
He doesn't deny the accusations outright.
Right.
He's sullen, withdrawn, almost eerily calm.
Right.
It's not what you'd expect from someone
No, not at all.
accused of assassinating the president.
Yeah.
And he keeps asking for this specific lawyer
Yeah.
from the ACLU in New York. but he can't get in touch with him.
Yeah, it just raises all those questions about his state of mind, you know? His possible motives. Was he resigned to his fate?
Right.
Did he believe he was part of something bigger?
Right.
It's these details, these seemingly minor points that just continue to fuel the fascination with this case.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It just keeps people coming back for more.
And then we have this other character who enters the picture.
Yeah.
Jack Ruby, a Dallas nightclub owner.
Oh, yeah.
He's at the police station constantly bringing food for the officers.
Yeah.
Seemingly obsessed with the whole situation.
Ruby's an enigma.
Yeah.
On the surface, he seems driven by grief and anger over JFK's death.
Right.
But there's a strange intensity to him, a need to be involved. That's hard to explain.
The fact that he can just walk into the police station with such ease is mind-boggling.
Yeah, especially
given what we know now about security protocol.
No, yeah.
It really speaks to a different era.
Different time. It's almost unbelievable by today's standards.
Yeah.
But this lax security will have major consequences, as we'll soon see.
Right.
But for now, the focus is on building the case against Oswald.
Right.
And the lone gunman theory starts to take hold.
But you mentioned earlier that there were cracks in this official narrative.
Right.
What were some of those early signs?
Yeah, what were those?
That things might not be as straightforward as they seemed.
Well, remember that curious detail I mentioned about Captain Fritz, the homicide investigator who interrogated Oswald?
Yeah.
He's seen wearing a Stetson hat in some photos.
Okay.
But in others, he's wearing a fedora.
Huh.
It might seem like a small detail, but it raises questions about the continuity of the evidence.
So he changed hats at some point during the investigation.
Why is that significant?
Well, it's not so much the change itself, but what it might imply. The switch suggests that maybe Fritz wasn't always the calm, collected figure he appeared to be in those interrogation photos. Was he pressured to get a confession? Was the evidence manipulated to fit a predetermined narrative? These questions start to emerge as you dig deeper.
That's a fascinating point.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about the behind-the-scenes influences at play during those crucial hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is just one example. As more details emerged, the lone gunman theory faced even greater scrutiny. Were the eyewitness accounts reliable? Did all the bullets fired match Oswald's rifle? The doubts began to accumulate.
And then there's Jack Ruby.
Oh, yeah.
Who is still lurking around the police station. Acting erratically. What's his story? Was he just a grief-stricken citizen?
Yeah, was he just a...
Or was there something more to his motivations?
Ruby is a complex figure.
Yeah.
He seems to be driven by a mixture of grief, loyalty to the Kennedys. And a strange fascination with both the police and Oswald. His behavior is unpredictable. And his presence at the police station raises serious questions about security. If a volatile character like Ruby could wander in and out so easily, what does that say about the protection surrounding Oswald, a man accused of killing the president?
It's baffling.
Yeah.
You'd think security would be ironclad.
But
it seemed incredibly lax.
Yeah.
Almost as if they were inviting trouble.
And that lapse in security will have devastating consequences. But for now...
The focus remains on Oswald.
Yeah.
And as the hours turn into days... A crucial piece of evidence emerges. That seems to seal his fate. The paraffin test.
This was the test they used to determine if Oswald had recently fired a weapon.
The paraffin test, while controversial even at the time, was considered a relatively reliable indicator of gunshot residue. And the results were damning for Oswald. Both his hands tested positive. It seemed like they had their man.
Case closed, right?
Not quite.
Oh.
Remember those photos of Oswald being escorted through the police station? He's wearing a shirt with the sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, I remember those images. He gets disheveled, almost defiant.
Well, those rolled up sleeves become a crucial detail. If Oswald had fired a rifle,
Yeah.
the gunshot residue would have also been present on his forearms.
Yeah.
Which were clearly exposed in those photos.
Right.
But there was no evidence of residue on his forearms.
So the paraffin test might not be as conclusive as it initially seemed.
Exactly. And this is just one of many inconsistencies that started to emerge.
Right.
The evidence, while seemingly damning at first glance, didn't quite add up. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any more complicated.
Right.
Jack Ruby enters the picture again.
Oh, boy.
This time, in a way, no one could have predicted.
So we've got a suspect, whose guilt is increasingly uncertain.
Right.
Mounting evidence that doesn't quite align.
Yeah. Right.
And a nightclub owner with, a perplexing connection to the case.
Yeah.
Where does Jack Ruby fit into all of this?
Well, that's the question that has haunted investigators and historians for decades. On November 24th, as Oswald is being transferred to a more secure facility, Jack Ruby steps out from the crowd and shoots him point blank live on national television.
It's a moment that just, sent shockwaves through the nation.
Yeah.
Seeing that footage, you can hear the gasps from the reporters, It was as if the assassination drama had spilled over into reality.
Yeah. Ruby's actions just plunged the already chaotic investigation into further turmoil.
Right.
Was he a lone wolf driven by grief and rage? Or was he part of something bigger, silencing Oswald before he could reveal a deeper conspiracy?
It's a twist that adds another layer of intrigue.
Absolutely.
To this already captivating story.
Yeah.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, only to find more questions with every layer.
Yeah, and the questions surrounding Ruby's motives only deepened when he claimed he acted impulsively, wanting to spare Jackie Kennedy the pain of a trial. But many doubted his story, pointing to his connections to organized crime and his erratic behavior.
So, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
We have a president assassinated.
Right.
A suspect killed before he can stand trial.
Right.
And a nation grappling with grief, anger, and a growing sense of distrust.
The JFK assassination remains one of the most debated events in American history.
Absolutely.
It shattered the nation's innocence and fueled a wave of conspiracy theories that persist to this day.
Was it a lone gunman?
Yeah.
A conspiracy involving multiple players?
Right.
Or something even more sinister?
Yeah.
The truth, as they say, is out there.
It's out there.
Buried beneath layers of speculation and unanswered questions.
And what makes it even more intriguing is how the assassination intersected with the rise of mass media.
Right.
The images, the footage, the live broadcasts, they all contributed to a sense of collective trauma and fueled public fascination with this case.
It's a story that continues to, captivate and haunt us.
Absolutely.
It makes you think, what if things had unfolded differently?
Right.
What if Oswald had lived to stand trial?
Right.
What if Ruby hadn't intervened?
Yeah. Those are the what-ifs
Right.
that historians and conspiracy theorists continue to ponder.
Right.
While we may never know the full truth, the JFK assassination serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of power.
Absolutely.
The enduring allure of conspiracy and the indelible mark that a single event can leave on a nation's psyche.
One thing that stays with me is the sheer speed at which everything happened.
I know, right?
From those shots ringing out in Dealey Plaza to Oswald's arrest and then his murder just 2 days later. It was a whirlwind of events that left the world reeling.
It really was. It's a powerful illustration of how quickly history can turn, how a seemingly ordinary day can transform into a pivotal moment that shapes the course of a nation.
Absolutely.
As you delve deeper into the JFK assassination, consider this. What role did the Cold War play in shaping the events of that day? Was Oswald merely a pawn in a larger geopolitical game? Or was he driven by his own personal beliefs and motivations? It's a question worth pondering
Absolutely.
as you explore this complex and captivating historical event.
It's a story that compels us to, think critically, question the official narrative, and confront the enduring mysteries of history.
Absolutely. And we'll be back next week
to
dig even deeper into those mysteries.
Sounds great.